Shep?
He also took aim today, again today, at Amazon.
The post office is losing billions of dollars, and the taxpayers are paying for that money because it delivers packages for Amazon at a very below cost. And that's not fair to the United States. It's not fair to our taxpayers. And Amazon has the money to pay the fair rate at the post office, which would be much more than they're paying right now. We're giving a subsidy to Amazon, and we're talking about billions of dollars a year, the real cost. And a report just came out. They said $1.47, I believe, or about that, for every time they deliver a package, the United States government, meaning the post office, loses $1.47. So Amazon is going to have to pay much more money to the post office.
The Postal Service's own numbers show it makes money by delivering packages for Amazon and other companies. As for taxpayers, the Post Office's own website points out, and I quote, "The Postal Service receives no tax dollars for operating expenses. None." And that reference to $1.47 that the president came up with there, a Citigroup study last year showed on average the Postal Service was charging $1.46 below market rates for package delivery. But our researchers point out, if that discount exists, it's not just for Amazon, it's a bulk rate discount. Back to John Roberts, there is a great deal of confusion or something here regarding Amazon and the post office, because none of that was true.
Well, this could be boiled down into very simple terms. This is personal, and it's between the president and Jeff Bezos, who, of course, was the guy who created Amazon, who also now owns the Washington Post. And the Washington Post has got an entire unit that's dedicated to reporting on the Trump administration. And the president looks at the Washington Post every day and by and large doesn't like what he sees. And so now he's claiming that the Washington Post is a propaganda arm of Jeff Bezos. And all of this is wrapped together around Amazon. And he feels that he can hurt Amazon a little bit because he's actually been affecting their stock price by suggesting that they're not paying their fair share of taxes, and that maybe the post office should jack up rates, which of course would affect the delivery costs for Amazon. All those people, Shep, who pay a flat fee for prime delivery every year, that might sort of shift the cost curve here for Amazon. So I think it could very simply be put down to this is a feud between the president and Jeff Bezos, and sometimes you've got your own facts when you're in a feud.
I guess so. Amazon's up $9.46 a share, by the way. In the middle of a trade war, which we have now, a trade war, President Trump says the relationship between the United States and China is very good.
I have to say this, China. I have great respect for President Xi. Two of the most incredible days of my life were spent in China. Many of you were with me. He's a tremendous person. But we have a problem with China. They've created a trade deficit, and I really blame our representatives and, frankly, our preceding presidents for this.
President Trump recently announced tens of billions of dollars in import taxes on Chinese goods. And this week, Beijing responded with taxes on American products. Back to John Roberts.
And of course, the stock market didn't like that a whole lot yesterday when China imposed the tariffs on $3 billion worth of American products. There's about 100 of them, including pork. And that's a big one for American farmers. There's no question about that. The president has yet to announce what goods would be subject to U.S. tariffs from China. That's supposed to come out sometime this week. So the stock market could take another dive, though we do see that it's up about 400 points today. So clearly, whatever the effect was from yesterday was pretty short-lived. Though the stock market, as we know, loves to be jittery and could go back down again. So, Shep, he says he's got a great relationship with President Xi. The two of them do seem to get along. But, the trade relationship with China and the United States is one that is difficult at the best of times. But the president simply said he wants to level the playing field. He wants to make things more fair and try to whittle down that huge trade deficit that we have with China. Shep?
And, John, the president also talked up how tough he says he's been on Russia.
Nobody has been tougher on Russia, but getting along with Russia would be a good thing, not a bad thing. And just about everybody agrees to that, except very stupid people.
It's true the Trump administration recently booted Russian diplomats from the country as a penalty for the poisoning of an ex-spy in Britain. But it's also true that the White House waited months after a congressional deadline to impose economic sanctions on Russia for meddling in the election in 2016, and after President Trump called the Russian President Vladimir Putin and congratulated him on his re-election win. He even floated the idea of possibly visiting the White House. That's usually an attaboy, a visit to the White House.
And that's one of the things that I was going to ask the president had I gotten a question to him today, Shep, was, is this meeting actually going to happen? We do know that Serbia, by the way, has offered up a facility in Belgrade if the two leaders want to meet there. You know, the president did point to the expulsion of 60 diplomats to say, look, other countries expelled 4 as a result of this nerve agent attack in the UK. We did 60, saying again at the press conference that he's been tougher on Russia than anybody else has. Listen here.
There's nobody been tougher on Russia. And with that being said, I think I could have a very good relationship with President Putin. I think. It's possible I won't, and you will know about it. Believe me, this room will know about it before I know about it.
Russia clearly not happy with the actions taken to expel the diplomats and the intelligence operative, Shep. They responded by kicking out a bunch of American diplomats as well and suggesting it would be difficult to host a summit between the two leaders with tensions as they are now, but also holding out the idea that things can change, which they likely will. Shep?